strange at first, but think about it. As public speakers, we speak at the center of the stage and communicate with our audience. And as opera singers, we also, right here on the stage, and we also communicate with our audience just as the characters we are acting. But in public speaking, we don't have a character, we are the character. And now today, I will show you about the similarities the two sharing. But before I move on to the big idea itself, let me introduce you how this idea occurred to me. So from the first year in uni, I joined this Chinese opera club, and this year actually marked my 10th year as a member. In this club, we learned how to project our voice, we learned how to stand in the middle of the stage, we learned how to appreciate Chinese opera in general. And now, have a guess. What is the first thing we are taught in that class? The first thing was actually how to breathe in properly so we can project our voice better. Now I come to rostrum and I receive a lot of coaching advice from different coaches. And the most thing I heard was also how to project your voice, how to stand still, how to use your body language, and I just feel like they are actually very, very similar. So I come to this idea, and today I will focus mostly on eye contact. I will introduce in two parts. The first one, how to look, and the second one, where to look. How to look. How many of you have received the coaching advice that you should use your voice variety, sometimes louder, sometimes lower, to attract the attention of your audience? A lot, right? But do you know that you can also do it with your eye contact? In Chinese opera, we say when you try to act, you should stare a little bit. Stare at your audience a little bit. Why is that? Because it makes you look more in character. It makes you look like you are the character, you are acting, rather than just Zoe. Actually, it's an interesting thing. When I first look back on my first rehearsal or recording, it was really, really bad. It was so bad, my eye contact. Half of the time, I was acting like this. And the remaining of the times, look at my eye, I'm drifting. I'm no longer the character I'm acting. And it's so obvious, like the audience, they can tell. It's actually the same in public speaking. When you try to stare a little bit, but certainly not too much, when you stare a little bit, it actually helps yourself and your audience to know that you are into this speech. Imagine this, you are giving a persuasive speech. You are trying to persuade your audience that these two things, opera and public speaking, really have a similarity. Then you stare a little bit. It actually helps the arguments be more powerful. It actually helps your audience to think, that's probably really true. But instead, if you just talk like, I really think they're similar, what do you think? You will probably think, yeah, it's an argument. It also will help you focus a little bit more. Why is that? You are using the muscles around your eyes deliberately. That means it actually helps you use your facial expression more, rather than just relaxing. In Chinese opera, we say when you stare a little bit, when you be more tense, your whole body is more tense, your whole figure is standing up. And when you are relaxed, you are kind of like lying down. And it's the same in public speaking. When you are standing up figure, you are more self-aware, and you I know you are more aware of what is present and what is happening, rather than zone out and thinking, oh, what's my next sentence? And oh my God, what if I don't know what I'm gonna say next? So that is about how to look. And since we know that, we move on to the next point, where to look. Where to look is actually more interesting to say in this stage, because it's very much like the stage I used to act on as an opera singer. Fun fact, a friend of mine who's also an opera singer, somehow after every year's big show, when we looked at all those photos, there will always be one or two of her photos that she's rolling her eye like this. And we can only see her white bits. We were like, once, maybe it's okay, accident. The second time, why is it always you? And then lately we find out it's actually because she has this habit to roll her eye up when she's singing. And then when the photographers sitting in the front row, when they took the picture of her, they can only see the white bits. What does that teach us? In a stage like this, in a theater like this, when I try to look at my audience, I can't look at the one at the top. Because if I do, the one sitting in the front, oh my God, you will only see my jaw. And if I look at the front row, that's actually all right. However, there's one rule in Chinese opera. The lowest point you can see is not straight down. Like, even if right now, I'm looking down in front of me, I'm opening my eyes, but from your point of view, my eyes are closed. Then it's not a good look. That's the thing. Every time when we have a performance, have a big show, before the show, when we do the rehearsal on the stage, we actually will test out where is the farthest point we can look at. We will test out, okay, I want to look front. Is the first row okay? My friend said, nah, it's a bit too low. What about the third row in the middle? Does that sound good? They said, yeah, that looks like all right. So, okay, then I know. When I give the speech, when I have the gig in that theater, most of the time my eye contact should focus in the middle of the third row. Similar to left and right. Now here, we have three audience on my right. So if I want to have eye contact with them, can I really turn my whole body just to them? Not really. If I, like right now, I'm looking at them, I'm looking at this direction. All the audience at that bit, they can only see my ear. They can only, sometimes even just my back of my head, which is not a good look. Then how do you look at them? How do you communicate with the audience sitting at the side? Instead of turning your body, turning your head, you can just turn your head a little bit and use your eye. I'm still having the eye contact with them, but at the same time, they can still see my face. This will be a better way to communicate with the audience sitting at the side. And that also gives us one more idea. That is, when you are trying to communicate with one group of your audience, you still need to keep other audience in mind because you are giving the speech to all of them. So, I ask you again, why don't we learn some opera? Since I think the opera can really benefit our public speaking skills. At the last, I want to thank the Chinese Opera Club that made me today, that made me today. And I want to say that they really give me great skills to integrate my Chinese opera skills with the public speaking skills. And that integration is my